Hello, good morning, guys. We'll start the live soon. Hello, good morning, everyone. So, welcome to today's pre-market analysis. So, let's start with the Nifty. So, we are a bit late today. So, let's have a quick look at Nifty. So, this you can see here is yesterday's analysis we had. So, we have informed and analyzed that about 25,050, which was yesterday's pivot point. So if it is opening above this pivot point with a higher volume, so we analyze that the Nifty will be retesting the level 25,150 as R1 and rest R2 as 25,250. So you can see that is yesterday it made a high up to 25,220. So almost our second R2 have been tested. But yesterday, as you are aware of, it was expiry day and also a good profit booking was seen after the mid second on the at the second session. So from the height, it nearly dropped 120 points nearly and closed at 25,100 level. So let's have a quick look at today's levels and let's start with the key level support. Let's clear this out first. So let's start with the pivot point itself. So let's say the pivot point is at 25,135. Or let's round it at 25,150. So this is a pivot point for the day. So let's have a look at the supports. 20. So yesterday's pivot point can be considered as a support for the immediate support. Let's mark it out to 25,050. So let it be the S1. Support 1 at 25,50 and let S2 be 25,000. So 25,000, you know that it is a psychological level, 25,000, and let the S3 also, let's mark it S3 as well, S3 to be 24,900. So 24,900 is where our short-term EMAs lies actually. So EMA 50 and 29 all lies near this 24,900 and 950 level. So let's consider this as to be the three levels on support side, and let's have a look at the resistance also. So resistance R1, first one, let it be 25,200. So yesterday it already tested these levels. So and again we had a great selling pressure at this profit booking pressure at this point, and let's consider this to be the R1, and on the basis of R2 let it be 25,300. And R3, let it be, it's a short range, it's a short point 25 350. So yesterday we know that the high and the closing levels are a bit higher compared to the other 3 days. So these are the levels for today. So support, resistance, and pivot line. So on the basis of this pivot point, we let's zone this Nifty out. So let's consider the bullish zone. So if Nifty and the indices remain in bullish trend, so let's consider the zones out. So if Nifty is staying above the pivot point with a good volume, so it is definitely gonna retest the R2, R2, R1 first initially, and after that with a higher volume, definitely it is gonna test these two levels, R2 and R3. So let's mark it down as the bullish zone, bias zone. If it is staying above PP, R1 and R2, R2 and R3, 25, 300. 25 3, it's a short range actually, but still let's consider these levels for the day. So these both levels are going to be tested if it is remaining above today's pivot point, so which lies at 25 150, 25 150. So these two levels are going to test if it remains above this 25 150 level with a higher volume. So it again indicated a bullish trend itself. It's still in the Nifty and the indices will be still in bullish bias if it is staying above this 25 150 level for the day with a higher volume. So if it happens, just testing these levels is to be observed for the day. So let's zone this out on the basis of range bound. So what happens if Nifty stays range bound? Let's zone that out. This zone is also pretty short range. So if Nifty is gonna stay range bound, let's Nifty, let's drag this down. So if Nifty is gonna stay range bound, it will be between S1, the support one, which is at 205050 to the first resistance 25 200. So if Nifty is going to be in a range bound position, it will be in between these levels, and you can consider these levels breakout as a bullish signal if it break out with a higher volume. So this is the zone for range bound market in Nifty. So I marked this 200 up to 200 level only. So above this we can consider as a bullish zone, and it is gonna test these levels. These are the R2 and R3. So if it is staying above this 25,150 pivot point level, it is definitely gonna test this level if it is breaking out with a higher volume. This is the range bound zone, and let's mark the bearish zone for the day. So if Nifty break below the S1, so let's not pick the S1. Let's take the psychological level here, which is 25,000. Then it is going to test T4 900 initially. So these are the three zones. So if Nifty is staying above today's pivot point, it is gonna stay in the bullish trend with a higher volume. It's gonna test these two bullish zone levels. And if it is gonna stay range bound, it will be between the S1 and S2, S1 and S2, and if it is gonna be bearish, which chances are pretty less, these are the levels. If it is breaking down below 25, this previous day pivot line, which is the first support, S1 support, and it's gonna test these levels. These are the levels for Nifty, and here you can see the RSI in this oscillator as well. It is staying above 50 now, which is a neutral condition, but the market is on a bullish zone from the 24 600 levels. It's bounced back and respecting the symmetrical triangle pattern. So today also I expect a bullish move in Nifty and all three indices, but still with caution. So we have to check on the volume, and volume with, if a higher volume is on the upside, then definitely it's gonna stay in the bullish zone. So let's jump into Bank Nifty next. So here you can see yesterday's level in Bank Nifty, which we have marked. So 56,000 was the pivot point yesterday. So we analyzed that if it is staying above this 56,000 with a higher volume, we analyzed that it is going to test these levels, which is at 56,300, and it made a high of 56,500 yesterday. The second zone was at 56,700. So let's set up today's level, key level, starting with the key levels. So PP for today is at 56,000 itself, and S1 is at 50. Sorry, this is yesterday's PP. 56,250 will be today's one, and support will be at 56,000. First support will be at 56,000, and S2 will be 56, 55, 800, and S3 will be at 55, 550 to 500 range. So 55, 500 range will be the S3. So these are the three supports for as per the present condition of Bank Nifty. And let's go move on to the resistance. So R1 will be at 56,500. So yesterday's high where it got a reversal, we consider it as the R1 resistance 1, and on the second, so let's add 200.56, 750. So yesterday's resistance was at 700. So according to today's pivot levels, we consider S56, 750 as the R2, and R3 will be at 56, 950. So these are the pivot points, support, three supports and resistance of Bank Nifty. So let's move zone Bank Nifty out. So let's add it in this itself. So if Bank Nifty is tending to stay in its bullish momentum, so let's zone the bullish range of Bank Nifty for the day. So if it is staying above the pivot level, which is at 56,250 with a higher volume, so it is definitely going to test the first resistance, and which will give a bullish momentum strength in the Bank Nifty. So let's zone this out. So if it is staying above 56,250, which is at today's pivot level, so it is going to test the R2 initially at R1, which is at 56,500 again, but let's consider R2 and R3 as the bullish zones for the day. 56, 750 initially, and after that 56, 950. These are the bullish zone for Bank Nifty if it is staying above today's pivot level, which is at 56,250 with a higher volume. TP high volume. Very good. So if it is staying above this line, breaking out with a higher volume, so its chances are there that Bank Nifty is going to test the second R2 up to that. First, initially, it still will be the first resistance, which is at 56,500. So yesterday's high 56,500. It's gonna test this, and if it is breaking out above this level with the same volume condition, then definitely these bullish zone levels are gonna be tested. So let's on the range bound market of Bank Nifty. What if it stays range bound? So if it is breaking below, or if it is staying below the pivot levels, it's definitely going to be a range bound market. It will be between 56,000, the support one, and between 56,500. So 500 point range will be there today. So 56,000 will be the first, which is support one, and 56,500 will be the range for Bank Nifty if it is staying in between on a range bound market. So if it is in a range bound market, definitely it will be oscillating in between these levels. So volume matters. So if it is having a good volume, it is gonna be continuing the bullish trend. So let's zone out the next thing, which is bearish zone. What if Bank Nifty stays and below the S1? So if the support level at 56,000, first support is being break coming down between the below this S1 level, then definitely Bank Nifty will be having a range between 56,000 below 56,000 to the S2 levels, continuing to the S3 levels. Chances are there, but still as per present condition, it is staying in a good bullish condition. But let's zone this out. If it is breaking below 56,000, and if it is failing to reclaim the PP level, which is at 56,250, then it is gonna come down to second level, which is as S2 5500. So followed by 56,500 also. So these are the zones. Comparatively yesterday, comparatively we have a shorter range for the day. So these are the levels for Bank Nifty. So let me uh, tell you this again. So if Bank Nifty is staying above 56,250, which is the pivot point for the day, so it is definitely gonna continue the bullish momentum if it's staying above the PP levels with a higher volume. So it is going to test these levels first initially at the R1, and after that, if that's still the volume momentum continues, it is going to test these bullish zones. So if it is going to stay in range bound, it will be in between S1 and the R1 levels. So if S1 is being broken, and if it is failing to reclaim this PP level, which is 1056 250, then these two levels are being gonna test, and if coming below this level, then the third resistance, which is at 55 500 levels, are going to be tested in the Bank Nifty. So the RSI is also on a 1 day time frame. You can see it is at 64. So it indicate a bullish momentum nearing to the overbought zone, which is at 70. So let's see. Let's go to move on to the Sensex part. So yesterday I draw it in this one. So you can see the levels. Yesterday, Sensex had a great run. So you can see. Let's take the other ones. So let's mark down today's key level for Sensex. So the PP pivot point will be at 82,000. So yesterday it crossed about 82,000 and support one. Let's consider support one as 81,700. This will be the first support, and S2 will be at 81,500 and S3 will be at 81,200. So this is based on the pivot level, and for the resistance part it will be first one at 82 200 to 250 range it will be. Also let's keep it 80 to 250, and R2 will be at 80 82 550 550, and R3 will be at 80 to 750. So these are the key levels for today's Sensex. So you can see 82,000 is at the pivot point, and support 1 will be at 81,700, and resistance for R1 will be at 82,200. So yesterday it made a high at 82,300 and breaking above the level 82,000. And let's zone this out for the day. So if Sensex is staying in his bullish momentum, then let's consider these levels. So if it is staying above 82,000 with a higher volume, then these level are going to be broken. So first R1, so let's not consider R1 as a bullish zone. So the bullish zone will be starting at R2, because yesterday itself R1 has been broken as by the market, but with a strong profit booking it came down below. So let's consider R2 and R3 to be the bullish zone. So R2, let's say that 82 550, and on the second note it is 82 750, 82 750 to be the bullish zone for Sensex. So if it is staying above the pivot line, which is at 82,000, 82,000 will be the pivot line today. So if it is staying above this level with a high volume, it is going to first test the R1. R1 is at 80 to 250, 250. This will be the first level to test, and if the same volume and momentum continues, it is going to test the bullish zones, which is at 82 R2, 82 550 and 82 750 levels. So let's draw out the range bound zone of Sensex. What if Sensex stays range bound? So if the range bound will be definitely between the S1 and R1, which is at 81 700, which is S1 700, and between the R1, which is 82 250. This will be today's range bound zone for Sensex. So let's draw the bearish zone. What if Sensex gives a bear flip? So below support 1, so let's say 81,700. If it comes below these levels and fail to reclaim the pivot point, which is at 82,000 level, then it is gonna show a short-term bear flip, though it will continue to fall to 81,500. And also, if this doesn't hold, then it is going to test at the R3, which is at 82 200, which is a very long range, 81 200. 200. So these are the levels for Sensex today. So we discussed all three indices. So we have seen the levels, support, resistance, and the zones we have marked. So today, if the momentum continues, it's gonna stay bullish. So today we should be a little bit cautious because we have reports coming from in global cues are there. So you were aware of about the Federal Reserve outlook on the projection. So and also we had a great profit booking also yesterday, and FIA also remains net seller. Let's have a quick look at FIA's data as well. So FIA been continuously being the net sellers. So any change in this or any change in the global market can trigger a bear flip. So yesterday you can see the FIA data shows it is net bearish. And with respect to the GIF Nifty data, let's have a quick look. GIF Nifty live. So it is also running 13 points down, and FIA is also on a net bearish side. So I expect a slightly bearish to neutral start in Nifty today. So we should be cautious with today's trades, and proper risk management is necessary for the day. So I wish everyone a good day and a good trading day, and I'm winding up for the day, and thank you so much.